You're about to watch a podcast with myself and Jim Liu, the CEO of SEO Vendor. Jim has been featured on the Prestige Magazine. His agency has won the Vega Awards, and his introduction is just way too long for this podcast intro. But in this podcast, we'll touch on the future of AI, what is in stake for SEO, and what is his vision with SEO Vendor moving forward. Enjoy. Jim Liu, CEO of SEO Vendor, a man of many accomplishments. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate you being here on the podcast. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I appreciate being here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, biggest pleasure. I'm going to jump straight into it. I want to know, as the owner of SEO Vendor, what is in store for SEO Vendor in 2025? Any new strategies or exciting developments on the horizon?
I think that we might even surprise ourselves because if we kind of look at everything that we've been accomplishing at tech, especially having to do with AI and AI tools in the SEO space, 2024 has been such a breakthrough year for I think everybody on the team and in this company. It's one of those years where it's where we had a update or a feature or something new has come along pretty much every week of this year, and and that's been quite incredible. It's been one of those years, and if we anybody can look at our like they can go into our platform and look at our latest updates, and they're gonna see there's a ton of things that we have added in there, and I see 2025 as being one of those years where I think it might actually make 2024 look quiet in comparison.
And 24 was such a big year. I mean, the amount of new features that were released is crazy.
Yeah, and it's both actually having to do with the external side of what we call our external, but really what that means is it has to do with our SEO Vendor platform. So a lot of new tools were released this year that we couldn't have even imagined the year before. Everything from better keyword AI to our latest LLM-based rank lens, which has it's been huge in popularity. There's been we've seen a lot of people just sign up just to look at, just to be able to look at it and see how their brand is visible inside ChatGPT. So that has been a very big impact on kind of the sense of what direction our company is going in 2025. And certainly on the internal side, we've also had a number of breakthroughs as well. There's been a lot of automation that we did on the operations side of things. We helped our clients automate their what we call their project startup. So this is something we call APS, which is like automatic program start. It allows the client to go from just a purchase through to setting up their project to onboarding their client. It's completely automated. The project statuses all get set up within 5 minutes. So this was something that was just, we didn't even know it was possible before. But here we are, 2024, and we're able to do that. Imagine what we're going to be able to do next year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, many of the tools that have recently released, I didn't even think was possible. And my question is, like, how do you and the team actually come up with these features and these tools?
Yeah, so a lot goes into that side of things. We look at everything from what our clients are telling us, user feedback, how is the digital marketing industry changing, what direction it's going in, because there's been so many changes within just the last 6 months alone. That's really inspired us to decide on what direction to go in when we say, okay, what's really needed? or what's going to be coming up right around the corner that people are going to need. And those are kind of some of the things that we then take into consideration to say, okay, this is going to have an impact because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be asking or going to need this tool, or perhaps sometimes it's something small. Like this year we introduced secure login transfers. So the SLT was an important thing to have in order to securely transfer passwords, login information. And we do that on a regular basis with clients. And so we wanted to give them a secure channel to be able to transfer that with that, so that everybody has something that they can use, and then that gets dropped directly into our internal core. So it's not like it has to then pass through other systems in order to get to that.
Oh, amazing. The perfect, no matter how small or big, the perfect definition of constantly staying ahead of the curve. And how would you say, how do you see SEO evolving in 2025? Like what challenges or opportunities do you anticipate?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the SEO space. I mean, the changes in the SEO space actually has a lot to do with, at the end of the day, the search engines themselves. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we think about it, if the search engines don't change, then there's really not a whole lot of change in, well, we've been a pretty boring industry,
Yeah.
But that's just simply not the case. So these search engines are evolving, and with the recent introduction of large language models and sort of the accelerated competition from companies like ChatGPT, which traditionally wasn't, just a year ago they weren't even in the search space, but now they are.
Yeah.
And so you have major search companies like Google who are feeling the heat. You have other search companies like Bing who are looking at this as an opportunity.
Oh.
So you have some companies that are actually looking at this as this is a chance to gain equal ground.
Yeah.
You have OpenAI, which is looking at this and saying, well, this is an opportunity for us to leapfrog what Google has started. And then you have Google who's saying, well, I'm the OG, and
I'm the big
you're
dog.
not going to pass me. Yeah, so I need to do things to make some dramatic differences. And so you have Google who have been they've been working on these AI reviews, providing recommendations by AI, but doing a whole lot more. There's like Notebook LM, there's Gemini 2.0.
Yeah.
Because they actually are one of the companies that kind of invented the ideas behind large language models, and they hold a lot of patents in that area as well.
Yeah.
It's no surprise then that they're going to be on the leading edge if they do now decide to kind of put the momentum of the whole company behind it.
Oh man, it's mind-blowing to see. I mean, I've only been here for a couple of years, but you've been there for probably 3-4 times the amount. And to see the change in this short time, I can't imagine the change that you have seen. And especially now, the past 2 to 3 years, it's really going mainstream. AI and the evolution of technology is absolutely mind-blowing. And also, looking at SEO Vendor, I mean, there is so much happening in this agency. I wanted to ask, is there anything you feel that sets SEO Vendor apart from any normal SEO agency out there?
Well, as you know, we've been one of the leading companies having AI at a much earlier stage than other agencies that have been looking into AI now. We've been doing this for, I think, about 6-7 years already. So AI is not new to us. And when we say we've been involved in AI, we're not just using the technology. We are, we developed our own language model off of neural networks. So these are fundamental code that are the basis, the same as the large language models, but instead of an LLM, we call it an SLM, simply because it's a much smaller model There's much fewer parameters. It's not on the order of billions. However, these models are a lot more specialized, and 2024, it's also been quite an impactful year for us because we also received our first U.S. patent for our SLM predictive technology. So this goes a long ways to show just kind of just how impactful this can be. If you have, say, for example, if you have the ability to look at different factors using even an SLM and take those factors into consideration, I'm talking about ranking factors, of course.
Yes.
And then you're able to apply that with a predictive model. Then essentially what you can do is you can run scenarios to be able to test what is going to work and what is not going to work, or what kind of conditions or factors are going to matter the most. And that can be personalized for every project. So it's not looking at something broad, rather than it's looking at something very specific on how Google is ranking for, say, this particular keyword in this particular industry for these set of sites. And ultimately in SEO, that's what really matters, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have, for instance, you can have a number of algorithm updates. Like there was just recently a December algorithm update, and that has actually happened a lot more frequently lately. Google has done a lot more algorithm updates this year than it has in the past,
yes.
or at least publicly acknowledging them.
Yeah.
Perhaps they did still do a lot, but at least now there's a lot more information going around as well, just keeping the SEO industry updated on what's happening. But part of that is that, well, if you look at the Google algorithm updates, ultimately, what is it really affecting? Well, it's affecting the rankings. It's the one thing about SEO that has more or less remained constant, is it's about the rankings.
Yeah.
And because it's about the rankings, then it's about, well, before and after an algorithm change, what are the differences? Who's ranking out? Who's not ranking out? While Google can generally provide some type of more general guidance on what exactly this update did, but ultimately, we still have to kind of go back and rely on, like I was mentioning earlier, the more personalized approach, where for an individual client, for a particular keyword, for a particular targeted URL, that keyword is being optimized for, who are the competitors, and what are the factors that matter now. And this is something that artificial intelligence, especially neural networks and language models, have been able to help us kind of accelerate that decision-making process. And as I was saying earlier, we've been doing that for many, many years.
Yeah, definitely. And it's remarkable to see something be so specialized and incorporate SEO in aspects that I never imagined was possible. It's very exciting. I'm excited to see what happens in 2025 if 2024 was already such a big year. But I'm curious to know, in the last few years, what lessons have shaped your vision for SEO Vendor?
Well, I think one of the things that I kind of go by is learning from your mistakes, which certainly we make plenty of here. I mean, what I mean is, I think if I were to look at not just only SEO Vendor, but if I were to look at just kind of like the circumstances of me learning, it's always about learning from your mistakes, and it's kind of like you learn that, okay, if this is this the right path or the wrong path, and from that experience, then you learn to hopefully make a better decision next time.
Yeah.
And so SEO Vendor has kind of been the same way. I mean, we started out small, and we kind of learned along the way a lot of what to do, what not to do. But at the same time, I think we have also grown, and we certainly are a lot more established now than before. And a lot of that also has to do with simply looking at client feedbacks and being able to sort of take that feedback and apply it. Listen to our client base,
Yes.
see what they have to say, and at the same time, look at our SEO approach, look at what's working, what's not. After all, we do run a lot of projects, a lot of campaigns simultaneously. So we assess everything from what are the overall systemic issues that may apply to, say, all the projects. And we also look at individually, is this client happy, or are they satisfied with the results? How can we improve from that? And so we take all of this as lessons, and then that kind of then helps us to figure out where we need to either improve or figure out maybe some ideas that can go a long ways towards smoothing out the process.
Yeah, true, definitely. And I guess it's not possible to really achieve success without failure. So yeah, that is very true. And Jim, what excites you the most personally about the future of SEO and digital marketing as we enter 2025?
Well, one thing I like to say is that whatever happened 6 months ago is already out of date, and that couldn't be truer. Given that we're at the end of 2024. And I think in about 6 more months, whatever it is that we're talking about right now, Bradley, is going to be out of date. So I feel that next year, that is what's also going to make it a lot more exciting. I feel that there's a lot of technology that's going to be heading downstream, both from just kind of everything else that's going around us in the AI space in general, but also with search engines and just kind of the massive amount of effort that's being put into either completely transforming the search industry itself, or perhaps there's an entirely different pivot way into some kind of AI based assistance, or like like even SEO Vendor, for example, we have SEO agent technology. Right? That's something that we've actually put to use this year.
Yes.
And I feel that next year there's going to be even more of that. So there's probably going to be more AI agent type of technology that's going to come into play. And at the same time, I still think that at the end of the day, it's still about the people. It's still about the relationships and the personal connection. And so I think AI, if we apply it in the right way, I think it's going to make things better. It's going to enhance, make things more efficient. How we do things, it's going to increase productivity. And I think if we were to kind of utilize it that way, then across the board, I feel that it's going to transform our whole industry.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Well, Jim, thank you so much. That is it for me and from my side. I really appreciate your time, your effort, and good luck with the year of 2025 and finishing it off in this crazy season of 2024.
Well, looking forward to it. And thanks for having me here.